Let me just say to the Yu-Gi-Oh community, I'm sorry.
We are back with Tron is Bad. Ryan, you're here. You were here once before. Now you're back again because we got so many comments saying that you wanted him to return. So I answered your prayers. You're back, rating some more Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and we're gonna do 3 different archetypes again. And after you're done evaluating all the archetypes, you're gonna tell me which one of these archetypes was good, but is no longer good. Used to be good. Also, which one is good and playable right now. And also, which one of these 3 was never playable, like never tier 1?
Oh yeah, okay. I'm excited to do this again, and thank you for having me back to the channel. Last video was a lot of fun, so I'm excited to do this again.
And how much Yu-Gi-Oh experience do you have again? I know you play Yu-Gi-Oh like way long time in the past, and also you did one of these videos before, so
yeah. I guess my very limited experiences with playing Yu-Gi-Oh was I played Yu-Gi-Oh very, very briefly back when Chaos Dragons was like a tier 1 deck and special summoning Lightsworn Dragons out of like, I think it was like City Fusion or whatever, some card like that. But I was limited to that, and the other knowledge is limited to the video I did with you previous, which you should go check out down below if you're interested.
yeah, go check the other Tron is Bad video. So I have 3 archetypes for you. Let's go ahead and start with the first one. And you mentioned Chaos Dragons. I want to give you some dragons.
Let's see. Blaster, Dragon, Ruler of Infernos. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 fire and or dragon monsters from your hand and or graveyard except this card's. Special summon this card during your opponent's end phase. If you control this special summon card, return it to the hand. Okay, hold on. I'm going to read this in parts like I did the last time. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 fire and or dragon masters from your hand or graveyard except this card. Special summon this card. Okay, so immediately, if it's in your yard, you can special summon it by pitching cards that are in your hand. So it's, there's that. So
hand or graveyard.
Graveyard, hand or graveyard. So it has kind of like okay. During your opponent's end phase, if you control this special summon card, return it to your hand. You can discard this card and 1 fire monster to the graveyard, then target 1 card on the field, destroy this target. You can discard this card. Okay, so if you pitch it and a fire monster, you can destroy something. That's cool. If this card is banished, you can add 1 fire dragon monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 Blaster, Dragon, Ruler of Infernos per turn, and only 1 set turn. Okay, so overall, I think that this card seems pretty powerful because of the fact that it seems like it can allow a bunch of different lines of, I guess you could call it like some like kind of combo play, because there's a lot of moving parts, because you can either banish 2 fire and or dragon monsters from your hand and or graveyard to special summon it, and you have a 2800 beater. Or if it's in your hand, you can pitch it and something else to get rid of something. Yeah, so I feel like, without looking at other cards, I feel like this card is like a little bit above okay.
Okay, let's go to the next one then. And you'll see a little bit of a theme with this archetype.
Okay, Redux, Dragon, Ruler of Boulders. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 Earth and or Dragon type monsters from your hand or graveyard, except this special summon this card. Okay. Okay, so I'm already with the first line. I'm already seeing the trend of like, hey, if I want to use the Inferno, I can pitch this card, and then oh wait, this card is in the graveyard, so now I can like do other stuff. Okay. Special summon this card. During your opponent's end phase, if this card was special summoned, return it to hand. You can discard this card and 1 Earth monster to the graveyard, then target 1 monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. Ooh, okay. You can discard this card and 1 Earth monster to the graveyard, then target 1 monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. Okay, so that's pretty cool already, because like you can pitch this card to your Inferno, or you can pitch the Inferno to Redux, and because this is confusing me a little bit. Well,
if you pitch Redux for the effect of Blaster, you will not get the Redux effect. You will get the Blaster effect only.
Okay. Okay. If this card is banished, you can add 1 Earth Dragon type monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1 Redux effect per turn, and only once that turn. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I'm
that's
noticing. I'm
basically
noticing a
saying
trend.
if you use the hand effects of the dragon rulers, then you cannot use the summon it out of your graveyard or hand clause. You can't do both of those in the same turn.
You can do one or the other.
Yeah.
Okay, so retroactively though, you'd be able to Inferno once and Boulders once.
Out of the hand, yes. Or hand and or graveyard, because they're both.
So one in hand, one in grave. Okay. All right. Okay. Noticing a little bit of a trend.
Yep.
On to the next.
And then when both are banished, like when Blaster's banished, you get a fire, and then when this is banished, you get an earth.
Gotcha.
Now there's this one.
Tempest Dragon Ruler of Storms. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 wind and or dragon type monsters from your hand and or graveyard, except for this card. Special summon this card. During your opponent's end phase, if this card was special summoned, return it to the hand. You can discard this card and 1 wind monster to the graveyard. Add 1 dragon type monster from your deck to your hand. If this card is banished, you can add 1 dragon type monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use 1. Okay, so this one is the tutor of the 3 that I've seen so far. I've noticed that. I've also noticed that what we were saying before is you can use these cards to pitch for the other effects, and then once they're in their yard, you can use the other cards to activate their graveyard effects, etc.
Right.
I can see the synergy. I am feeling like the more that I'm reading these, the more that they are feeling like a kind of like restricted, like it takes a lot to activate these. So far I'm not being like blown away. I'm feeling very like these are very all right.
All right, we will go to the next one.
God, every single card just the text gets smaller.
Progressively smaller.
Title Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 water and or dragon types. Special summon this card during your opponent's end phase. If this card is special summon, return to your hand. Okay. You can discard this card and 1 monster to the graveyard. Send 1 monster from your deck to the graveyard. If this card is banished, you can add 1 water dragon type. Okay, so another kind of this is more so this is like an Entomb dragon. I've noticed that.
Yep.
I feel like we're getting to an end goal here. I feel like something really big is going to happen because these dragons all seem like very medium. So I feel like they are, no pun intended, I feel like these are pieces to Exodia. And you have to like do a bunch of stuff to get like the big dragon, you know what I mean?
No,
so that's kind of like what I'm
There's actually no big like really big dragon.
What?
Let me show you the 5th card, and then I might need to. There are a couple of payoffs that you would play in this that you play in this deck, but let me just show you this one real quick. We'll tie some pieces together.
Dragon Ravine. It's a spell card. Once per turn, you can discard 1 card, then activate one of these effects. Add 1 level 4 or lower Dragoonity monster from your deck to... Oh, Dragoonity. I've heard that word before. Send 1 dragon monster from your deck to your graveyard. Okay. So it feels like that this is a recursion deck. It feels like it's kind of like a reanimator deck. That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Have you've heard of his Exceed monsters before? The XYZ black cards?
Yes.
That you overlay them on top of each other?
Yeah.
One thing you would do with this deck, and it's kind of like a payoff, other than the dragons just being huge attackers to begin with, you can overlay them. They're all level 7. You can overlay them on top of each other, and then summon a level 7 or rank 7 Exceed out of your extra deck. And there's a couple of good ones. You might have heard of them before because you played a little bit back then when I believe, but I can show you those cards as well if you want to see those. There'll be a little bit more than 5 cards in this archetype, but I can also show you a couple that they would use in this deck to try to make more sense for you.
Okay. Ooh, extra special content.
All right. This is I'm gonna give you 2 Exceed monsters, okay? Because you're not seeing what this deck's trying to put together. So I'm going to start you off to read this one, and then we'll go to the next one really quick, and then we'll go to the next archetype.
2 level 7 Mecha Phantom, Beast Drexek, Once per turn, you can detach one material, special summon 2 mecha beast tokens. While you control the token, this card cannot be destroyed. Okay, so far I'm already seeing that the dragons are like different pieces of a puzzle that you can use and reuse. Reduce, reuse a cycle deck.
Right, yeah, so this one is going to make tokens to kind of protect your life points, and this card can sacrifice your tokens to destroy stuff.
Got it.
And then there's another one as well, another card that they would play here, and it's this one, so you read this one real quick, and then we'll go on to the next archetype.
Number 11, the Big Eye. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card to target one monster. So when you detach something, does it go to the graveyard?
Yes. You're detaching a material of the Xyz that's under it, because you're stacking the 2 level 7s on top of each other. So you go like
okay,
blaster, you put like blaster and title on top of each other, and then you summon Big Eye out of your extra deck, and then you can detach either the Big Eye or the title, whichever one you want, to use the effect of the Xyz monster.
Okay, I get it now. The dragons are all very important tools, and regardless of where they are in your hand or in the graveyard, you'll be able to use and reuse them.
Right,
So
and there's ways to search them. There's ways to put them in the graveyard. There's ways to, when you summon one and you banish the other one, you can use the banish effect of the other one to go search a card. So it's kind of like toolboxy in a way, a bunch of level 7 dragons.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I still think that this archetype still is like, it's all right.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go ahead and go over to the next archetype, and this one's a fun one. I've got a lot of requests for this one in the comments.
Okay.
So if you ever have any requests for decks in the comments, let me know down in the description below, because I will use your requests. All right, this is going to be a bonus card for this archetype. I know I just gave you 2 bonus Xyz cards, but I have to put this as a bonus card for this archetype because there's too many cards to show you, and it's this one.
Toon World. Of course I've heard of Toon World. that's from back in the anime, bro. Come on. You talking Yugi boy? Come on.
But do you know how good this deck is? That's the question.
No. Nope.
Okay, so Toon World is just what it says. You've seen that before.
Toon Kingdom. When this card is activated, banish 3 cards from the top of your deck face down. The card's name becomes Toon World while in the field zone. Your opponent cannot target Toon monsters you control with card effects. If a Toon monster you control would be destroyed by the battle or card effect, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck face down for each of those monsters instead. Hold on. What? Okay. When it's activated, you banish 3 cards from the top of your deck. Got it. So you mill 3 cards face down. They get exiled. This becomes a Toon World. Your opponent cannot target Toon monsters while you control. Cannot target Toon monsters you control with card effects. So it gives your board hexproof.
Right.
Or ward, whatever.
Hexproof.
If a Toon monster you control would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can banish 1 card from the top of your deck face down for each of those monsters instead. Okay, so it's just like it's pro your board.
Yes.
So
because
like
your board is
just
proof and indestructible.
That's wild. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Didn't see this one in the anime, did you?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, let's go to the next Toon card.
Toon Page Flip. Spell card. It's a quick play card.
It is.
If you control Toon World, I remembered that term from last time.
You did. I'm surprised.
Toon World. Reveal 3 Toon monsters with different names from your deck. Your opponent randomly picks 1 for you to special summon. Ignoring its summoning conditions, also shuffle the rest into your deck. You can only activate 1 Toon Page Flip per turn. This is literally an intuition.
Right. It
This
is.
is
It is.
intuition.
It literally is
Yugioh.
intuition, yeah.
But the only difference is that you get to cast this card.
Yeah, for free, yeah.
Well, that's okay. That's pretty strong, I think. that's just
and then I'm
strong.
going to show you some Toon monsters, because the Toon monsters are way better than you remember because they're new.
Okay. All right.
They're newish. How about this one?
Well, that's wait, it's Joey.
It's Joey. Wait.
It's Joey. Wait. Red Eyes Toon Dragon. 24 2000. Cannot attack the turn it's summoned. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, this card can attack your opponent's directly. What? Okay. All right. Once per turn, you can special summon one Toon monster from your hand, except Red Eyes Toon. Hold on. What?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That seems broken. That seems really good. Once per turn, you just get to special summon something. So this is Red Eyes Toon Dragon is a sneak attack or a
It
show
is a
and
sneak
tell.
attack. Yeah, it is a show and tell.
That's wild.
And if you
Okay,
flip into this with the page flip, then you get to summon two things. You summon this for free, and then you get something else in your hand for free.
Okay, that's pretty crazy.
All right, let's go to the next Toon monster.
Toon Dark Magician, what's up? Cannot attack the turn it's summoned while you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters. This card can attack your opponent directly. Okay, so both of those so far have the same.
Right. Toon monsters
Same
usually
thing,
have
okay.
all Toon monsters usually have that text. Usually.
Okay. This card can attack your opponent directly. Once per turn, you can discard one Toon card, then activate one of these effects. Okay, so you immediately get to pitch something and be like, "Hey, I want to do this." Special summon one Toon monster from your deck. Oh my god! Except Toon Dark Magician. Add one Toon spell trap from your deck to your hand. All right, I'm already on the Toons are gross. That's where I'm at right now.
All right,
that's where I'm at.
All right, let's see the last Toon card.
Okay. Toon Black Luster Soldier. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned from your hand by tributing Toon monsters from your hand or field, whose total levels equal 8 or more. While you control Toon World and your opponent controls no Toon monsters, this card can attack directly. Once per turn, if you control Toon World, you can target one card on the field to banish it. Also, this card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. Okay, so must first be special summoned from your hand. So does Dark Magician's effect supersede Black Luster Soldiers?
Yes, and Red Eyes Toon Dragon also supersedes it.
That is so gross.
And also the page flip also supersedes it. Like it says, if the card says ignoring its summoning conditions, you won't have to tribute for this. Usually, this deck will not have to tribute for this.
Okay, this is gross. This deck is. I'm gonna be honest with you. I would probably play this deck. Like this is sick.
It is pretty fun.
Cool.
It is pretty fun. We're not gonna lie.
This is pretty cool.
Okay, that's it for the Toons.
That's pretty... Okay, where I'm at with the Toons right now, the Toons between the two decks, the Toons deck is much better.
Okay, now let's see how you feel about this last archetype. This archetype that I'm about to show you has a ton of cards, so it's like kind of impossible to show you with 5 cards. But I'm gonna try to do my best.
Okay. Purrely
is how it's pronounced.
Purrely. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Purrely from your deck to your hand. Wait, hold on. From deck to accept a quick play spell, you can target one Purrely quick play spell in your graveyard. Special summon one XYZ monster from your extra deck that mentions this card. What? By using this card you control as a material, and if you do, attach that spell to the summoned monster. This is treated as an XYZ summon. You can only use the effect of one Purrely each turn. Okay, so I feel like this card, like as you're saying, is like a grander scheme of things because there's probably a lot of cards to this. Like, okay.
That's why I'm starting out with this, because this is like the tutor card that like gets the ball rolling, and I'm going to show you what the ball is rolling into, basically.
Okay. So it's definitely an enabler.
This is an enabler, yes.
Okay.
And there is one other enabler in this deck. It's kind of like this, but it instead of getting the quick play spell from your graveyard, it does the quick play spell from your hand, basically.
Okay.
So this deck does have more than one of these type of enablers, but I'm just showing you this one. Now the next card is this one.
Purrely Delicious Memory.
Now this is pronounced Purrely. Purrely Delicious Memory.
Oh, say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I know.
A quick play spell card. Again, choose one monster on the field, and until the end of next turn, it cannot be destroyed by battle. After choosing a card, then you can apply the following effect. Discard one card, and if you do, special summon one level 1 Purrely monster from your deck. A Purrely XYZ monster that has this card as a material gains the following effect. Gains 300 attack for each. There's so much going on with this deck.
I know, I have to put your brain on freaking lookout.
Okay, choose one monster on the field, and until the end of your next turn, cannot be destroyed by battle. Okay, so it's protection. After choosing a card, then you can apply the following effect. Discard a card if you do. I assume most of the time you're going to be using the first effect. Discarding a card and special summon one Purrely, because then you'll get another tutor ability.
Right, you get to summon the Purrely or the other card. The other enabler,
Or
the other enabler's name is Purrely. Purrely or Purrely,
okay,
and then do the enabler thing.
Okay. That's what I feel. I feel like you're almost never going to gain the 300 attack.
And also, you can choose your monster with this, or you can choose your opponent's monster with this in case you don't want their card to be destroyed by battle. Which there's applications for that too, but that's delicious memory. Now let's go ahead and go over a different quick play spell. I'll show you a couple quick plays.
Early sleepy memory. The next battle or effect damage you take this turn will become 0. You can also immediately apply the following effect. Discard one card if you do, special summon one level 1. Okay, so the same thing from before. Once per turn during your opponent's standby phase, you can draw a card. Oh, that actually seems pretty strong. The second one. Once per turn during your opponent's, you get to Mishra's Bauble. Or
right, and that stacks for each sleepy memory you have on your thing. So if you have multiple sleepy memories, you'll draw multiple cards. Yeah,
I feel like for this one, you would be choosing the second effect.
You're basically gonna try to get the quick play spells as Exceed materials under your Purrely Xyz, and that first enabler, Purrely, kind of lets you do that by targeting a Purrely quick play spell in your graveyard and then attaching it to it as material and summoning a corresponding Purrely Xyz from your extra deck. And I'm going to show you a couple of Purrely Xyz today as well. I'm going to show you a 6th card for this archetype as well, because it's very necessary.
Gray Purrely Street. So this is this is a field spell, right?
It is a field spell.
Okay. Your opponent cannot target Purrely monsters you control with card effects. Okay, so it gives them hexproof. The turn they're special summoned. Okay. So not hexproof, it gives them hexproof the turn that they're special summoned. Once per turn, face a Purrely XYZ monster you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card special summon one level 1 from your deck or graveyard. Once per turn during end phase, you can target 1. Attach 1 quick. Okay, so it allows you to attach those quick play spells from your deck or graveyard to a monster as a material, which then will allow you to be able to get out the Exceed monsters because of the amount of materials that are under them.
Well, it will let you put a Purrely quick play underneath an Exceed that you already have. So say you have like a sleepy memory underneath one of your Exceeds, then you get like another sleepy memory from your deck, and then on your opponent's standby phase, you get to draw multiple cards.
That's wild. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There's also another Purrely spell. Like I said, there's like way too many cards in this archetype to show you all of them. But there's a continuous one that's pretty important. You pay 500 life, and you reveal 3 different Purrely cards from your deck, and then you get one randomly to your hand, which you can just reveal 3 of the exact one that you want, so you're guaranteed to get the one you want. And then you add that card to your hand, and you can do that once per turn by paying 500 life points. And then if one of your Purrely cards get removed from the field by one of your opponent's cards, you can add up to 3 different Purrely quick play spells from your graveyard back to your hand. That's what the other card does. Okay.
They do so many things.
I know, because that's like a little bit of a card advantage engine that, since I'm not showing you that card, I kind of have to tell you that to make everything make sense. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, for the last 2 cards of this archetype, I'm going to show you 2 different Exceeds that you can go into. There's a bunch of more different Exceeds, but I'm going to show you 2 of them. One of them being this one.
Oh boy. A Purrely happiness. 2 level 2 monsters. Hold on. I guess this is an aesthetic question. Why are the level stars on the left side?
Because there are ranks.
Is that
for Exceeds? They put it on the left.
Okay. This is a rank 2. Got it. At the end of the damage step, if this card battled, you can add 1 Purrely card from your deck to your hand. Also, if this card has Purrely Happy Memory as a material, you can have the attack of 1 face-up monster on the field. Wait, you can halve the attack. Okay, so chop it in half. Up to. Does that say up to thrice?
It does say thrice.
I have never ever seen on a trading card ever the word thrice.
This is not the only time it's happened.
Oh, up to thrice per turn. When you activate a Purrely Purely quick play spell card. You can attach this card to that card on the field to this card as a material. Then you can return one spell trap. So you get to activate this 3 times.
You do, yes.
That's pretty broken.
So if you see
good.
like Delicious Memory up top, you get multiple attacks. If it's underneath one of your exceeds, you get multiple attacks. And then with Happiness, you get to add a card.
Kill your opponent in 1 turn.
You can kill your opponent in 1 turn. You could kill your opponent in 1 turn with this. But with Happiness, if it battles, you can add a Purrely card from your deck to your hand, and then you can play. If it's quick play spell that you just added or whatever, you can play the quick play spell, and then you can use Purrely Happiness's effect when it says when you activate a Purrely quick play spell, you can attach that card on the field to this card as material. So if you add like another Delicious Memory and play it, then you get another attack because Delicious Memory says you get another attack. So this one like keep attacking basically. Okay. Let's go ahead and go to the last card of this archetype, and then we can see how we feel about all 3 of the archetypes together.
Purrely Noir. That's so funny. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Never change.
Never change.
You can also... Okay, hold on. I have to blow this one up. Purrely Noir. Okay, you can also XYZ summon this card by using a rank 2 monster you control with 5 or more materials, assuming that it's the Purrely we just saw. Transfers materials to this card. So you take that rank 2 that we just had, and you can transfer all of it to this card.
Yeah, you just slap this on top of it from your extra deck.
Got it. This card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects while it has 5 or more materials. So you can detach 2 materials from this card, then target 1 card your opponent controls or in their graveyard, place it on the bottom of the deck. This is a quick effect. This card has level 1 Purrely monster as material. This entire deck feels like Boggles. That's what this is.
Kind of like Boggles, yeah.
This is literally Yu-Gi-Oh! Boggles.
Yeah, it is. Very slippery.
Very slippery. The difference between the two is that in Magic, Boggles, you're just hitting really hard and you're attacking through creatures. This one, you get to use effects on top of your Boggles creature.
Well, and also the Boggles, it's a good reference because Boggles also has like a bunch of hexproof stuff, and so does this.
Yeah. So that's kind of like what I feel like where this deck is at.
You're like assembling a big thing, and then it's unaffected, and you start doing the thing.
It's literally Voltron. This is a Voltron deck.
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of like what it feels like.
Okay, so we've seen all 3 archetypes so far. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're going to tell me which one was never good, which one was good before and is no longer good, and which one is pretty good right now. Like it's playable right now. You can play it and win matches.
Okay, worst of the 3 is the Dragons deck. I think the Inferno and Boulder that deck I think is the never good, wasn't good, period.
Just don't like it.
And that don't. Yeah, I don't think that one's good.
Got it. Okay, now we have one of 2 choices. Which one?
Okay.
Which one do you think was good before but is no longer good?
I think that the Toon deck was good, but is no longer good.
And that leaves the Purrely deck to be pretty good playable right now.
The current pretty good playable right now. Yeah.
Why?
I feel like, and this may just be a bias, because I feel like the Toon cards, I could be totally wrong. I feel like the Toon deck is like a little bit older. That might be why I'm thinking as such, because like like Toons probably have been around for a while.
Well, those new Toon cards are like pretty new. They're like relatively new.
Well, okay.
So just like take that as you will. They're both of these decks. They're relatively new. So you can't like use that. You can't like use that as a reason.
Okay. So all right, let me. Okay, so if that's the case, then
just like on sheer like power level of the cards that you think in the synergies and power levels, like.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
so all right. So let me change my answer then. I think the Purrely deck was very good and is no longer good because maybe something new came out, or maybe like the meta found a way to disrupt the fact that you need these materials, because like what if you're attempting to do this, but someone disrupts it from their side of the field with like a quick play or like a trap. So maybe they figured out a way to disrupt that. And same thing for Magic. In Boggles, if you get rid of the Boggle, there goes everything else.
That's true.
And then I feel like the Toon, I'll be honest, the Toon deck out of all three of the decks is like my favorite deck that you presented to me, because I think that's very cool. It's fun. The cards are fun. The cards are also broken. And then if that's the case, I'm going to change my answer, and I'm going to say that the Toon deck is very good and playable right now.
Okay. Ryan, I tricked you.
Oh, man.
I tricked you. I got you to change your answer.
No, I had it right. I had it right, didn't I? I did. I had it right, and you just didn't want me to have it right 2 videos in a row.
But
okay, so you know what? TheOneJame, I'm changing it back. My answer, my definitive answer was the Dragons deck is horrible. The Toon deck was good, but is no longer good, and the Purrely deck is broken. That's my answer. I got it right. I'm 2 for 2, worldwide champ on the Jame channel. Get out.
I gotta say, you're still wrong.
Oh man. That's so good.
Okay.
All right. So tell me where I'm wrong.
The deck that was never good.
Yeah.
Is Toons.
Get out! No way. Really?
Yeah.
That's wild. Why?
Yeah. Because you need Toon World on the field to resolve all of your stuff and to use all of your effects and to do different things. And if your opponent just removes Toon World, then like the jig's up.
Yeah, okay.
Like you just can't do anything.
Okay, all right. That makes sense then. I guess I didn't take that into account. That's fair.
And the deck doesn't really use their extra deck almost at all. I mean, you can do it if you want to, but the cards basically have too many restrictions.
The Toon thing is just all right. I guess the Toon thing is just like too restrictive and just like very Christmas land kind of.
Like it looks unrestrictive since it's like, oh, play this without paying its like summon cost or whatever. You know, it's like do this without doing this, do this without doing this, but it's too underpowered for how restrictive it is. If it was, if their effects were like win the game and it was that restrictive, yeah, it would be a good deck because it like deserves to be that restrictive. But it's like the cards can't attack the turn they're summoned, and also the effects aren't like out of this world good. So and they're also restrictive. And that's why the deck never was really that good. Okay. The deck that was good but is no longer good, you were correct in saying that was Dragon Rulers first.
Okay.
But weirdly enough, it's so funny. Because you're saying like the Dragon Rulers deck is like really bad and everything. It used to be the best deck of all time.
What?
Yeah.
It's wild. Yu-Gi-Oh players are weird.
Yeah, it used to be the best deck of all time as of like 5 years ago. And then they just started like super power creeping everything, and now everything's better than Dragon Rulers now. But like it used to be the best deck of all time. That and spellbooks. I don't know if you've ever heard of spellbooks. Maybe we'll do that on a different episode.
I've heard of
spellbooks. Okay, so yeah, that deck and Dragon Rulers were like in the same format for a long time, and spellbooks would be pretty good against Dragon Rulers if they had a specific card called Jowgen in play, which said your opponent can't special summon. So if you can't special summon, how are you supposed to summon your dragons? You know. So, but if the Dragon deck got to do the thing first, the Dragon deck usually always won. But it was a good back and forth between like, oh, what's the best deck? Spellbooks or Dragon Rulers? But it was basically a consensus that the Dragon Ruler deck was the best deck of all time. Because it was toolboxy for one. It had huge threats like the Blaster having 2800 defense, things have 2800 attack, 2400 attack, things like that. And also it was very what's the word for it? It was very resilient. Because every time you summoned one, you banished other ones, and then when the other ones are banished, you get to search a card. So if you banish 2 Dragon Rulers to summon another Dragon Ruler, then you get 2 banished searches for more cards to your hand. And like it's kind of like a never-ending loop of card advantage with the Dragon Rulers. So it's like, you know, and they all they can intune, it's just very toolboxy and very like kind of hard to kill.
That's the way that you describe that. Then it sounds like in Vintage, like a paradoxical outcome kind of deck.
Yeah, it's like once they get the pieces together, like the card advantage and toolbox aspect of it is just like it's always going to be there. It's hard to interrupt. It's hard to stop.
Okay, so let me just say to the Yu-Gi-Oh community, I'm sorry.
That's going in the intro. I'm putting that right in the beginning.
That's so good. That's gonna be such good clickbait.
Yeah, the thumbnail is just gonna be Toon World in the front, and it says "I'm sorry" in big letters.
It's so good. So I was right with the Purrely from the get. Then
you were right that Purrely is good and playable right now. It's not the best deck in the format.
Okay, cool.
But you can win a lot of matches with Purrely if you're good at it. It's a very, very hard deck to play. There's a lot of moving pieces. It's very like it's like you're playing Voltron no, not Voltron. It's like you're playing Voltron / Boggles, right? In Magic, but like your opponent's playing a whole bunch of Shielders Edicts. So it's like you have to kind of like maneuver different navigate. There's a lot of different things to do other than just like make a huge Purrely Noir. Sometimes you play Noir and your opponent just can never deal with it because it's unaffected by card effects and everything, and your field spell says it has hexproof and all this kind of stuff. So sometimes your opponent just can't deal with an Purrely Noir and you just win the game on the spot. But there's a lot of games where you have to like maneuver through a bunch of interactions, and it's very hard to win the game unless you're pretty good at the deck. So it's a very skill intensive, very rewarding deck to play. Super fun deck to play too, and like I said, it's a deck that can interact with your opponent, but also be really hard to beat.
Well, James, you stumped me today.
I did stump you today. When you were saying that Dragon Wars was like awful, I was like, man, this is one of the best decks of all time. It's so crazy. I mean,
that's so funny.
Okay. But anyways, thank you for coming on the show. It was a pleasure having you. Second time coming. Maybe you can do like one next month too. Like maybe come on the show once a month or something like that if you want to. And maybe I'll show you some other badass decks.
And then I'm just gonna know the entire format.
Exactly. And then after a very long time, if you want this, by the way, let me know in the comments. I haven't actually formally asked anybody yet on this channel, but if you're watching this as of this point, first of all, thank you for watching. But second of all, do you want everyone that has been on this show to play Yu-Gi-Oh against one another, all the content creators, and see who actually wins after we give all of these videos to them? Every content creator that's done multiple videos has to like put a deck together on Master Duel and play against each other. That'll be kind of crazy.
I will make Toons work.
You play Toons. And
I will turn all of my opponents will be a third-rate duelist with a fourth-rate deck.
Yeah, and then Nikachu will play Mermail since he loves like he loves he loves the water deck so much, so he'll play that. He's done a couple water episodes here, so it'll be super fun. But anyways, thank you once again for being on the show. If you liked it, let me know. Like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already or you're new. Also, you can use code JAME7, JAME7 at checkout at Prodigy Games to get 7% off of literally anything in the store. And as always, peace.